When my husband and I first started dating, we went up to the Griffith Observatory up on a hill in Los Angeles. And we were really excited because you can see a view of the whole city, and there's also a big telescope there, and actually in the lobby when we first walked in, there's a huge pendulum swinging, huge. And my husband, who has a science background, was really excited to explain to me all these different exhibits, and I, on the other hand, have more of a liberal arts background, and so I'm pretty easy to be impressed when it comes to these sorts of things. And so he goes on to explain to me, because I asked why the pendulum was swinging the way that it was. So with much confidence and elaborate explanations, he starts describing what's happening, and a small group begins to form because of his authority with which he's speaking. And so, I'm asking him questions, and he's engaging, and he sounds like he knows what he's talking about. So a young man eventually joins the group and listens in, and meanwhile he's reading the plaque on the side of the pendulum, and my husband proceeds to say something that is contrary to what the plaque is informing the visitors about. And so he goes ahead and he pipes in and he says, "Well, how come the plaque says this?" And my husband kind of turns a little red, and the group slowly fades away, and so it's just my husband and me standing there, and I ask him, "Do you really know what you were talking about, or did you make this up?" And he says, "Well, yes, I do know most of what I was sharing with you, but I did get a little carried away and kind of just wanted to impress you a little bit." So I, of course, have come to know my husband and trust him and see that he really is a smart man and all, but most of the time, all of us have opportunities where we can kind of take it to the next level, and it's important for us to remember that it's in those moments we need to evaluate our motives. And this reminds me of Proverbs 17:28 that says, "Even a fool is thought wise if he keeps silent, and discerning if he holds his tongue." So the next time you're tempted to share something that might not be accurate or beneficial to the audience, remember this verse and evaluate your heart's motives. If you really want to impress the people that are listening to you, the best thing sometimes is to hold your tongue and not say anything at all. They'll probably think you're more wise than if you said something that wasn't actually true or accurate to begin with. Something that my sister and I actually say was based on a story when we were kids, and she asked me, I'm her older sister, why the lights were sticking to the top of the cars when they got towed away. And I said, "Well, they're magnets, of course." And I didn't know, but I was just figuring that that's what would make sense. And granted, they are magnets. However, I didn't know, and my parents got a great laugh out of that. And so every time since then, in my whole growing up years and adulthood as a family, we've called that magnetizing. Just making things up that you don't actually know to be true, but that you kind of figure would make sense and hope that's true. Well, in those cases, obviously some things are not a big deal, but in bigger things in life, don't magnetize. Remember this verse, and even a fool is thought wise if he keeps silent.